Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. My deepest apologies. When I scheduled the time, I just picked whatever the time they told me was, just usually like 5 minutes out. So sorry about that. We were scheduled for 4. The social media accounts all said that and stuff, but I goofed it up. My apologies. Thanks for hanging out if you guys hung out for a half hour. And I was not completely sure I was streaming today, and that is why I threw this thing out the last minute. But 4 o'clock has been kind of the default Wednesday stream time anyway, so I figured I made it back to the house about 3:15. I'm like, I can do this. And then I rushed through setting up the stream, and we ended up listing it as super early. So my apologies for that. That would be entirely my fault. But greetings, everybody. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Half hour ago. Oops. My fault. Sorry. Great Tomb, I hope you're still around. And greetings. Fluffy Cloud, how's it going there? Are you a rain cloud, Fluffy Cloud? I think I'll try to quickly make a cup of coffee and be back before it starts. Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, I made me another cup of coffee too. It is a 3-cup of coffee day. Yeah, it's one of those days. Yeah. I had to wake up especially early today for a video conference, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. We hung out with a couple guys we've been getting to know, and well, that's that. But I was up way too early, and then I was running around way too much and things like that. I am still on the Raspberry Pi for work. It is working beautifully. And I do have a new device that I will be reviewing. This might be this Saturday, or it might be the following Monday or something. But for anybody that is needing a good cellular internet connection that is going to work with a robust home network, we're talking something good, not like, it's my MiFi hotspot. I picked this guy up the other day, which utilizes a cellular data plan. This is a Sierra Wireless AirLink LX40. I got this one because the Ethernet port, this is the only one in its class which has a gigabit Ethernet port capability to it. And I threw this on a Verizon data plan. We'll talk more about which plans will and will not work with it. But I threw it on there, and I'm actually able to get about half the speeds I get with Comcast. And if you listen to what I talk about here, you know that I already have more speed than I need. The upload, though, is about 5 times what Comcast gets. It's very symmetrical in the up and down speed. Of course, the downside is being cellular. It's unlimited, but really it's only high speed for about the first 30 gigs in a month. And so that's something I will be looking at. But this particular device also has some bleed over that you can actually utilize it as a backup system for your primary network, that it'll always be on. And if it detects that your internet drops, it will swap your internet over into cellular. And so you won't lose signal. So it's not a functionality I use, but it is definitely a cool little device. I was playing around with it today. And I will have some more information about that whenever I do the review. The question is, am I going to have the OMV Raspberry Pi video done or not? And I'm just at this point that's the most boring part of editing. I have this 30-minute silent section. I need to figure out what I need to cut down, and then I need to do a voice overlay. And really that's what's delaying that particular video, which I probably recorded almost 2 months ago now. So, but we'll get there, and one of those is going to be soon. But if you guys take a serious interest in a cellular modem to hook into your advanced home network, I will get that out sooner. But anyway, hello Raymond, greetings George, hello Kazang. Yes, Fluffy is here. That is CJ the cat. If you are new, CJ is he chills out in my chair. He steals my chair quite a bit. I just go ahead and let him have it on the live streams because I use a chair that you can't see the ugly back for the live streams. So that way you get to see Roger in the background over there and the other cool decorations I have. Stray cat, my neighborhood will now come within 2 to 3 feet of you. Very cool. Hello, Keegan. Greetings. Really want to touch the cat, touch the kitty. Hello, Mr. Tech Guy. Alexander Beer. Yeah, my cat is skinny. My other cat's really skinny. This one's not. Worth waiting. All right, no ways. Yep, no worries. Hello, Farron. Unrelated FYI, for any Windows users, Internet Explorer will be fully killed by Microsoft in 2022. Wow, about time. What are they doing? Putting the thing on life support for all eternity. All right. Let's see. Hello, Bernard. Greetings to you. Rip, the king of browsers has fallen. That's right. I don't know what in the world I'm going to possibly use to download a better web browser now that Internet Explorer is going to die. I mean, really. Internet Explorer, give them time to switch. Yeah. The 11 desktop application will be retired June 15th. All right. 2020, June 15th next year. So that would be about a year and a month. Prefer Brave. There you go. All right. Internet Explorer has always sucked. Of course it has always sucked. Has been canceled because it was not bloated according to useless. Oh, 10X. Yeah, I was going to actually talk about 10X in the news last week. I dropped it because I had too many other better business news. But I think it's going to come back. I'm going to talk about it because it was more rumored last week, but it seems official this week. So I might talk about that on the news this week. I have an orange and white cat, mostly orange with white socks. Oh, and Mr. Socks is his name. That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, my other cat's floating around too. She doesn't like the cameras as much, but she has been coming around for feeding the kitty at the very end. So she is thus far tempted. Mr. Dot is over there on Discord and says, use Edge to download other browsers instead of IE. I know, right? Yeah, I guess we'll just use Edge to download better browsers. Except Edge is Edge is starting to do well. Very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get into our main content. And then we'll come back and wrap up and chat again at the end. So I think what we're going to do here is I'm just going to talk into the camera a little bit. And let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and boot this guy on now, just so I don't have to wait to boot the VM up when we are ready to move over there. I'll probably have a few minutes beforehand. Greetings, Joe. How's it going there? Haven't seen you around in a while, man. Hope you're doing all right. Lazo is over on Discord as well. Hello to you. Just gonna wait for Linux Mint to boot over here, and then we'll get into what we're gonna do here. I hope it boots. I want a black screen over here. Come on, boot, boot! Everybody, cheer it on! Boot, boot! Love how you wake up in the morning and without your permission, Edge is installed. Oh, I know. Isn't it glorious? It is so amazingly glorious how Edge will just be like, hey, I wanted to be here. It's like last night I took the iPad out with me to do some work outside, and I could throw a movie on and stream a movie from my alleged collection. And it's like, there's an update wants to go. It's like, so what? Like, enter your passcode to install the update later. No. Screw you, iPad. I'm not updating you at all. I'll update you when I feel like it. I will resist the updates as long as you're telling me I must do the updates. Long live Vivaldi. There you go. All right. Man, this is taking way longer to load than it usually should. Linux Mint is usually quite a bit faster at booting than this. All right, there we are. All right, we are logged. Well, we're not logged in yet, but let's just go and get logged in. We'll get logged in. That way the desktop audio will do its thing, and then we'll be set to go. Did a version of Edge for Linux? Yeah, I think it's officially in beta, and a lot of the functionality is working in it now. Definitely they keep reinstalling Candy Crush. Yeah, they keep on doing that. That's Apple for you. Yeah, Apple's like, yeah, dude, I don't know what in the world's wrong with this Linux Mint. What is this, 5 minutes to boot? I've never had that problem before. Come on. I've noted a weird thing where sometimes distributions don't work as well when I'm running OBS for some reason. I have no idea why that is. I mean, maybe it's shared memory or something going on in the RAM or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, we are set, so we're going to push record and get going. Better call this a first video, first waddles with Linux. Oh, this is good. We could. First waddles with Linux. Let's get started. Come on. Let me check my system. Every now and again, one of my RAM chips gets dislodged. No, we're good. We're good on RAM. All right. All right, let's get started. Welcome back to Switch to Linux, and today we're going to talk about your first switch to Linux. So we're going to talk about those first steps that you might want to do when you are just getting started with your Linux desktop. Now, if you've not yet switched to Linux and have not yet put it on your computer, there's a few things that I would recommend that you do before getting to that point. The first is watch a few different videos on a few different distributions and figure out which Linux distribution you're going to be using. Today, I'm actually going to be doing this walkthrough with Linux Mint, which is the distribution that I would recommend for most people. Some of the things I have in this video are going to be applicable to Linux Mint exclusively, and some of them are going to be broad. When it comes to something that's more broad, I will attempt to let you know that if I remember going through all of the different initial first steps. The second thing I'm going to recommend you do is learn how to try out Linux without destroying your current operating system. You're always going to want to have that preserved so you can go back in the event you get into some tight spot. There's different ways to do this. Number one, you can install Linux on your primary computer on a secondary hard drive. It is possible. We have videos on the channel how to do that. The same thing would apply for a USB drive. The next thing you can do is if you have a better computer, you can create a virtual machine and run Linux inside of a virtual machine on your existing operating system that is compatible with Windows or Mac. So you have those options as well. Of course, you could always go out and check Craigslist, eBay, or some other cheap place and find a refurbed old computer, maybe one that's really cheap because it doesn't have an operating system, and just throw Linux on it. That's also a good option. I bought a very, very good computer for $75, no operating system, threw Linux onto it, and it works beautifully. And so there's a lot of different things you can do. The next thing I'm going to recommend that you do before you get started with Linux is make a note of the software applications that you need to use on a day-to-day basis. And then see if, number one, does that application have a Linux version? Or number two, is there a good alternative? Microsoft Office, for example. The vastest majority of people can get away with LibreOffice instead of Microsoft Office. It's a good free alternative. Whereas Microsoft Office, you're not going to get that installed on Linux quite as easily as you might get something else installed. There's also the Adobe Suite packages. Now, if you're a professional, you might still need to keep that Windows or Mac around because you're not going to run the Adobe Suite. And if you need those on the professional level with the specific features that you need, that's what you kind of need. Linux might just be something that you use on the side. But if you're just a casual user, don't worry about Photoshop. You have GIMP, you have Krita, you have other excellent alternatives to those distributions. And so there's other things you can do, but start making a list of what software you're going to need to run on your system. Now, some distributions are going to have a lot of these software packages pre-installed. Some of them are not. It's going to be dependent on which distribution you have chosen. So with those introductory remarks out of the way, we're going to jump on over to the Linux Mint desktop. I'm going to walk you through. So over here, when you first boot up Linux Mint, you have a welcome screen. Several distributions do have one such welcome screen. Some distributions do not. So if it does have a welcome screen, I'd encourage you to take the time to read through it. In this case, it has first steps. Oh, wow, shocking. That's the title of our video. They've done a really good job, and this is one of the reasons I recommend Linux Mint. In their first steps, you can choose your desktop color. We have a variety of accent colors, and you have a light theme and a dark theme. You can go with a more traditional, older type layout or a more modern, newer type layout for the panel. And then there's a few other options. Linux Mint and a few other distributions will have system snapshots. It's very much like the Windows Restore Point. Some distributions have this, some don't. I personally don't ever set this up because I actually found that if I have a problem with my operating system, it is way easier to just plug in the hard drive in another computer, get a copy of my home directory, reinstall the operating system, and drop that home directory back on. It's way easier than messing with system snapshots. I don't even know all the details about how it works, to be perfectly honest. And it is something that was introduced after I was already using Linux Mint. Now, anything that's based on Ubuntu is going to have the driver manager as this tool. Linux Mint is working on its own version of a driver manager because they have a non-Ubuntu based. There are several other distributions which will have some form of driver manager. Not all of them do. What this is going to do is it's going to look at your system hardware and it's going to propose other non-open source drivers that you might need to use. This is the same feature that Windows does on a regular basis. Whenever you install something in, it's going to say, hey, here's the new hardware we've detected. Here is the proposed driver. Do you want to install it? If some such driver is available, then this will do it. So install this. Now, if you don't have a welcome screen, you can just come in over here and just type drivers. And then you can see that if your distribution has some form of driver manager, it is most likely going to pop up here in the menu. We have the update manager. And then the rest of these things we're just going to go ahead and walk through. Now, since I don't want to make this video exclusive to Linux Mint, I'm just going to close this and walk you through the things that you might want to do. The first step anytime you get a new Linux distribution is you're going to want to install updates. Now, if you are using something like Arch or Manjaro based on Arch, maybe some Fedoras, maybe some OpenSUSEs, it's going to install all of those updates during the installation process. But most Debian-based, Ubuntu-based, and several other distributions will not do that. So you're going to need to run updates. Now, Linux Mint and several other Linux distributions will have an update manager. It will give you some form of notification. Ubuntu's will give you a pop-up right in the middle of the screen. You can push the OK button. And if you don't see it there, you can search for the menu for there's software manager, software sources. Usually your software manager is going to do something. Now, the manager here in Linux Mint is actually more software packages. This is one of the few distributions that does not tie the system updates with the software. Most distributions do. And so if you're using one of those, all of your system updates are going to be in your software manager. Linux Mint is one of those standalones. They're not connected. So you do have to use the update manager for Linux Mint. So this is the one I recommend. On first load, it's going to give you the basic information, push OK. The first thing it might do is it might update the manager itself. It's going to ask us, so this is update the manager itself. Here, do you want to switch to a local mirror? What you're going to do here is this means that all of your software is going to come from some repository. The default on this is going to be an Ubuntu, I think, based in the United Kingdom, and a Linux Mint based in the United States. Particularly that Ubuntu one, you want to get something closer. So we're going to click the yes button. Enter your password. And then we come over here and we're going to see this is where our mirrors are at. So you just click on these, and this works the same on a lot of distributions. Anything that's going to have the ability to manage your software repositories in the GUI is going to use a very similar system. So click on that, and what it's going to do is it's going to probe all of these different places where these repositories are stored, and then it's going to show you what is the speed of those repositories. Ideally, I generally like to pick one of the highest speed, although I don't always pick the highest speed. Sometimes I'll go with the nearest university to me, like where I'm at in central Pennsylvania. I might see a Vermont Tech, or I might see a Virginia Tech. Those are things that might work. The Linux Mint is good. Here's EvoWise. We're just going to go ahead and click on that. Now, we're not going to click OK yet, because I want to change the base one as well. So again, this one here is going to probe, see who is giving us the fastest speeds. Here again is EvoWise so far. We don't have to wait until everything is done, particularly if you have an idea what's going to work best for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick the same one for here as well. So go ahead and click OK. Now we're going to click the button, update your cache. What this is going to do is it's going to go through your system and see what needs to be updated, what doesn't need to be updated as part of the first update process. So once it's done updating the cache, we can close out this window. And then over here, you can see a new version of the update manager is available. We might want to close this and then reopen it just to make sure that we don't have any conflict with what we just did with changing the location of the mirrors. So we're going to go ahead and apply your updates. And then this is going to make the changes to the system. So this first one is something Linux Mint does a lot. It's just an update to the update manager. Now we have an update to the packages. The reason I like Linux Mint for updates is we have the ability to turn on and turn off the updates on a variety of different choices all at once. If you don't really know what you're doing, it's best to just go ahead and let the thing update itself. Generally, it's not going to break itself. And so we'll go ahead and push the apply updates. It gives us an idea of what we are doing. We need to enter our password again. And then once this guy is done, then your system is going to be up to date. Now, as of note, when you are updating your system, you're not going to be able to go into your software manager and make any updates to like installing any new software or anything like that. So while it's doing that, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Right now it's downloading, then it's going to be installing. So it's going to take some time. So let's go ahead and do some other things that you might want to do on your system. So most of your desktop environments, and Linux Mint here uses the Cinnamon desktop environment by default, although there is an XFCE and a Mate version. But most of your desktop environments will have a system settings, and within the system settings, you might see some changes to the themes. This is something that you can easily select your colors, your styles, and things like that. So we can go with the light or with the dark. Here is the icon colors you can choose from. Here is your basic controls you can choose from. And then these are overall desktop themes. Now here on Linux Mint, if you want to see just those simple accent colors again, you can actually get in here and just search for the welcome screen again. And this is a new feature. It's not implemented everywhere yet, but if you're like, oh, I just really want to go ahead and just do something quick and simple, there you go. You can just go ahead and do that. Now we have a dark theme. That one looks a little dreary though. I don't know. There we go. I like that. Let's go ahead and go with that one there. So one of those first early steps, just go into your system settings. Now there's going to be other things in your system settings. This is like the old school Windows control panel. Only it even goes back even older school where you can customize colors, you can customize fonts, you can just do a lot more with your system. Of course, backgrounds, who doesn't like changing around their backgrounds? You can of course get to that on almost every desktop environment just by right-clicking on the desktop and change your background images. You can get to it right here as well. Linux Mint does give us some of the most beautiful backgrounds available by default. So let's go with something like that. There we are. So there we go. That's a nice little background there. Or we can do, this kind of matches with our red. Oh, it's a little bright to look at. So let's go back. There we go. This one's nice. Let's do this one here. So you have a lot of good backgrounds to choose from. You have a lot of other options. Now, the other options in here, some of these are going to be shared with different computers. Some of these are not. And here on Cinnamon, and also some of these are going to depend on which distribution you're running. So there might be more or less items inside your system settings depending on what your Linux distribution itself is. And so here we have basic preferences. Here's screensavers, which aren't really screensavers as much anymore as when does the screen time out and show you the clock, and this will determine, can you lock the screen, how long before it shuts off? Do you want to lock the computer? Do you want to delay the actual locking of the computer? So this means, is it going to require a password when you come back to your computer? Since I work alone in a home office inside my house, I always turn those off. If you are in a office space, then yes, you absolutely do want to turn this on so when somebody can't come over and log in and access your system. So You can go ahead and do that. Here's any startup applications. You can see there are a lot of startup applications. Let's go ahead and walk through these real quick to see if there's anything in here. Now, this is going to completely depend again on your distribution. This is going to be your screen size adjustments, anything that you've done in your screen size. Control Alt Backspace to restart Xorg. This is an application. You can turn it on, turn it off. Flatpak service will load. If you don't really want to use Flatpaks, you can turn that off. Mint welcome. This will prevent that welcome screen from showing up whether or not you've toggled that button or not. You can enable the print queue. You can enable the SSH agent. If you don't plan on SSHing into the computer, you can go ahead and toggle that guy off. Tray system tray icon when a compatible NVIDIA information is there. I don't use NVIDIA, so I could just easily toggle that guy off as well. Let's toggle that off. Let's toggle that off. System reports will come on if there's any issues. That is this guy down here. That is something that is fairly unique to Linux Mint. And then this is the update manager. Warpinator allows you to transfer files back and forth on the network. I'll probably turn that off because I have my own internal network file system that I use. So there we are. We've customized what is started, what is stopped. Window decorations, how do notifications look. This is your desktop icons. So if you want to have, for example, I like putting the trash icon on the desktop, and I like putting the network icon on the desktop. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn all those on. Now, there has been a trend in Linux to do away with desktop icons. I don't really like that trend, but the desktops that generally do not support icons, at least don't support them well without extensions and plugins, GNOME, Budgie, Pantheon, those guys generally don't support them. Plasma has an easy toggle on-off. If you want them or don't want them, you can easily do that. And then Mate, XFCE, Cinnamon, these are all desktop icons by default. Again, you can turn them off. Like you can remove the desktop. Cinnamon, I don't even know if you can disable that feature of the desktop. Now there's a hardware section here. This is going to be any form, you know, if you have graphics tablets, any printers, power management, just all the different hardware devices. And then we have administration. So here's our driver manager again, firewalls, login windows, and then users and groups. So if you wanted to add another user or make adjustments to a user that is here, you can go ahead and make those changes from inside of here. So that's one of the first things you might do is just walk through the system settings, see if there's any setups that you want to do. All right, now our system is up to date. A reboot is required for things to take effect, but it's Linux. We don't have to do anything with that, so we're not going to reboot at this time. So there we walked through your desktop. We've walked through basically setting up your icon or your updates and things like that. The next thing is going to be software. So most of your distributions are going to have a GUI or graphical user interface software manager. So you can go ahead and boot that up. If you happen to be running a distribution without one, then you're going to be relying on the terminal, and then you need to check the documentation. It's either going to be using apt or pacman or EO package or DNF. So there's a variety of different ones. We're not going to go through that in this particular video. We're just going to assume you've picked one of the distributions that has some form of GUI package manager. Usually, if you don't know what the name of it is, just type in software and it's going to be called Software Manager. On Manjaro, it would be called POMIC. There's a Synaptic is kind of close. It's sort of graphical, sort of not. You have anything based on GNOME or Budgie might have the GNOME Software Center. Ubuntu's are going to default to the Snap Store, which has repository and Snap packages in them. So it really is going to depend on your distribution, but you should have some form of software manager. Now, when you get inside of here, you can just click on these icons here. If you know, oh, I definitely need FileZilla, you can go ahead and do that. Click on the install. That's going to go ahead and ask you again for your password. And once you've entered your password once on the software manager, it shouldn't keep asking you for it. I don't think it does anyway. So if you need Skype, you can do that. And then if you're not exactly sure what you need, you can just click on a category and have a look. So here, LibreOffice is here. You'll notice it has Libre writer is LibreCalc, but it doesn't have LibreOffice. That's because many Linux distributions realize not everybody works with databasing and things, and so they might not give you the entire suite. And although it does look like Linux Mint does give you the base, there might be some things missing there as well. But nevertheless, you have that. Then you have just a variety of other things that fit under the Office category. The other thing you can do is you can just kind of search. So if you search for email, for example, if you want to find an email client, something to check your email, we have Thunderbird, we have Clawsmail, we have Geary. K-Alarm is part of Kmail. Here's a FlatHub version. We'll get to talk about FlatHubs and stuff in a minute. Let's see. I don't see Evolution here. That's usually my preferred. Typing for it. There you go. So Evolution is my preferred email application for a variety of different desktops distributions. So you can click in here each of the individual categories to see what we have. Here's Chromium, Firefox. We've installed FileZilla, Torrent things, Wireshark things, Bluefish Editor, something I use in my day job. So we'll go ahead and install that as well. So you can see, just go in here and add that software. Remember I said make a list of the different software packages that you might need. And then once these guys are installed, they will automatically appear in the menu over here. So under Internet, here you can see we've installed FileZilla. And we've, I don't think, yep, Bluefish Editor, there it is. It's already done, already there. So you can go through here and see where everything is at. Now here on Cinnamon and on other distributions as well, it is possible to change where things are at in the event you want to move something around. On Cinnamon, you can do that from the GUI by right-clicking on the menu and typing Configure. Go down to Menu and then open the menu editor. And then you can actually just move things around from category to category. So, you know, if we just did the programming Bluefish Editor, if you want to move this somewhere else, you can't just drag them and drop them, but you can cut it or you can copy it and then you can paste it somewhere else and it will automatically adjust itself. You might need to restart Cinnamon for it to do that. But those are some of those early first steps. So as a very brief summary for what you might want to do when you first get started with a Linux distribution, the first thing is getting those updates installed. The second thing is going through your theming and your setup. And the third thing is getting any software installed that you might. Look at those startup applications. There might be something that you add to your startup applications. There might be things that you remove from it. And I, of course, always change my clocks around so that they have the right format, the right date profiles. I might move around my panel a little bit here. These are all those types of little things to do, but hopefully this will give you some thoughts, just some ideas to get started when you are trying out Linux for the first time. And again, if you have not yet switched to Linux, you do not need to destroy your current operating system. In fact, I'd advise against it because you don't want to run into something where it's like you just can't figure out how to do something right now. You get frustrated and you get mad at Linux, and then you're sorry that you don't have your old Windows or Mac laying around. So the fact is you can easily try this out without destroying your current system, and I'd encourage you to do that and then slowly migrate into it, and that will make your transition to Linux very helpful. Well, thanks for watching. I do have several ways you can help support the channel if you are interested. Having a look at switchedtolinux.com/support will show you all of those different ways. We are on Patreon, Subscribestar, and my own homebrewed Think Life media as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right. Biggest live stream we've had in a while. Let's check in on our Discord first, then we'll check in on the rest of our comments. Before you, still keeping the iPhone 6 around. Every time I use it, the update thing pops up. So Linux on a USB drive, but performance may not be as good. Yeah, I actually, I don't know. A flash drive, depending on the flash drive, maybe. An external USB hard drive, I've had no problems with that at all. Let's see. We'll go ahead and close this guy down. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Guys, let me know in the comments what I missed so I can go, oh, I should have done that now that we're done recording the video. Salsa is very fast to boot. Still your Firefox browser? Here you go. Linux Mint should boot. It should. Waddle, 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 waddle. I've had Debian boot in just 5 seconds. Yeah, my main Linux Mint, like this one here, boots pretty quick. It's pretty slow now. It needs to be updated. In fact, 18, which I'm running here, is out of date at this point in time. So when I'm done with the super secret project, then I'm going to be updating my computers. I'm not messing with it until I'm done with the super secret project, which will be unveiled soon. I'm thinking maybe about another month. About another month of hearing about the super secret project before you actually know what it is. Increase swap file size. Yeah, I don't know if when I first booted it on today to test, it booted right up without a problem. I'm done with schoolwork. I'm fully back to Linux. Not sure what my remote surname in internship at the Department of Energy will entail yet, but you can use, hopefully you can use Linux for it. There you go. Awesome. Yeah, a friend of mine's actually doing an internship now, and I think starting soon anyway, not now. I think he's starting about a month or so. And it's on Linux, actually. He's in school for some cybersecurity stuff, and so he's actually doing stuff on Linux. His distribution is that. Let's see. Just installed Mint alongside Windows with the help of UNet booting. Very good. Linux also has a Spotify app. Yes, it does. Oh, Vivaldi Gang. Yeah, I don't know. You guys watch DistroTube sometimes. I don't catch him as much as I would like to. I should probably go and make sure I catch more of his stuff. Vivaldi rocks. I'll have it on PC, but it's awesome. Yeah, I was using that today. I use Vivaldi when I'm doing our conferences for our early Wednesday video conference. We're using Vivaldi. I think they are using, I think the person hosting it uses Google. And so I use Vivaldi for that, and it works well. Although we are having some technical difficulties, so I hosted it on my own Jitsi server instead. Jitsi server to the rescue. Stupid Chia coin, people causing hard drive shortage. Chia, the cryptocurrency that grows. Is that a new coin? I don't know. Zorin has a new beta. Ooh, no, I've not tried the new Zorin beta. I missed out. I actually checked DistroWatch today too. Oh well. Wait, he says button is sexy. Button. Be safe, India. That's right. DLN, is that Destination Linux or is that DLN? Speaks poorly of Linux Mint. Some of the rhetoric from some there never cease. Yeah, well, that's fine. That's okay. You can be a Linux purist if you want. I just need an operating system that works and allows me to do my day job. Just saying. Extra money for it. Yeah. Bought one from eBay, low spec laptop. Yeah, yawn. Which Linux Mint should I install on my laptop? Typically Linux Mint Cinnamon. Unless it's like an old or really low spec, then you might try XFCE. Find their claims shocking, honestly. Lack of respect towards Mint. Yeah, that's fine. You know, you need to use what you need to use. That's fine. Using Dell Vasto 1710 from 2007. Something that old, I would say you're going to want XFCE. Only one Mint, Debian Edition 4. Sorry, I'm a Debian fanboy. There you go. Yeah. That is so coming along right now. Like DistroTube is getting more and more antagonistic. Oh, is he? I don't know. Maybe I'll go check him out. I'd like to suggest changing the default swappiness value from 60 to 10. I could probably try that. Not for my disposable throwaway VM, though. You know. Linux Mint by Linux Cinnamon. There you go. So my NB is old. I installed Mint XFCE. There you go. Chilling with the brothers in the UK. All right. Is there anarchy in the UK yet? I mean... snap packages as on Linux. Oh, I forgot to talk about Flatpaks. Oh, well. Whoops. New to Linux, where can they find what does the same thing as Windows name stuff? So Alternative 2, that would be a good video in and of itself, finding the alternatives. So Alternative 2 is a excellent place where they keep logs on all of the different software and what alternatives could be. Payment keeps failing, but I'll fix it. Really? Which language do you use to work in web dev? Well, I'm mostly a front end UI UX, so I pretty much just deal with I can do some pretty fancy stuff with CSS, and I do a lot in Joomla and in WordPress, so I'm very well versed in the Joomla and WordPress codecs. So I do a lot of those, and then of course basic PHP. Hypnotic's another cool app, and Mint. Have it on Manjaro, works flawlessly. Very good. Yeah, I didn't check if are the TV channels working again now. Exactly. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. Hello, Present Arms. Greetings. Linux Mint has always been trusted distro for decades. It bothers me when they dog on such a great distro. Yeah, you know, that's fine. Everyone is doing well. Install Linux. Hello. Greetings. Yeah, we're just kind of wrapping up. 2, realize none of the software you use on Windows works. Go back to Windows. Well, I'll be damned. That's what's happening, huh? Yeah, I remember first switching to Linux and trying to get like the Adobe suite installed. And then I realized GIMP is really good. Right, buddy? Oh, here you go. How you doing? Nobody can see you, though. You're sitting too low to be seen, kitty cat. We're going to have to send you back to your chair so you can have your kitty treats. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this guy up here shortly. Don't leave yet, though. We'll go ahead and we're going to go ahead and feed the beast. Right, buddy? Huh. Yeah. Oh, you being cute. You being cute for everybody. All right. Let's go ahead and you're going to set you on your chair so we can feed the beast. All right. Let's go ahead and find the kitty cam is an empty chair. It's an empty chair sitting in the corner. Pink. No, over here. Back up in your chair, dummy. There you go. Uh-oh. We have a double catter. Houston, we got a double catter going on here. We got a double catter. Oh, you guys can't see the double catter. There you go. Over here. Yeah. Uh-oh. Ooh. Had a double catter show up. Let's see. Windows software has Linux counterparts. I do wish that was the case. Yeah, GIMP is good on Linux versus Adobe Photoshop because it's on Linux. Yeah, I'm being proficient in both. I actually prefer GIMP these days. Wendy's classic double cheeseburger. Why are you wanting to make me go get double cheeseburgers? I was going to make chicken today. Now I want a double cheeseburger from Wendy's. Mark, what are you doing? Chair is well loved. Yes, it is. DoorDash. Bleh. Double catter. Stuff is so crazy expensive, yeah. Kitty Treats abandonment comedy has arrived. Kitty running faster from the camera as Windows from the CLI. Human toddler watching this with me likes cats and the guinea pig not so much. The guinea pig's like, it's a horror show. It's a horror show. All right, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this guy up right about here. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we will be back tomorrow with a supporters stream. And then Friday for the weekly news roundup. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And we will see you next time.